Hello, welcome to the garden. And today we're going to look at building a grid. And this is a grid I'm building for a client who wanted she pulled change. And when we'd done her reading, this was a perfect card for where she was. Point out a couple things to you. There's 5 stars and there's 5 bright little stars. And there's the center stone. And the 5 is important because 5 is the number of change. So I'm going to put it down on the grid and I'll show you kind of the pieces I use to make one of these. Okay. First of all, I usually use some sort of grid pattern so I can keep the stones spaced. There's a lot of them online you can find. You can also find downloadable PDFs if you want to find them. This is my Mystic Pie Plate. My Mystic Pie Plate fits exactly on an 8x8 frame, so it works really well. I rebuilt this stone early. This is a poppy jasper and a snow quartz. And poppy jasper does a lot. It does a lot for vitality, for movement, for things like that. And the snow quartz is a special sort of quartz that is to filter in positive energy and balance the yin and the yang, align the chakras, facilitate alertness during tense moments. So when you're bringing in a lot of change, you're going to bring in by inherently a lot of tense moments. So it's there to modify the energy that's coming in through the jasper. Then look at card. Card has fat little ring around the center. So I can show fat little red jaspers. And these are all just tumbled jaspers. And I will place them around. She wants to receive this with the stones loose, and I'm going to make, I have a way of transferring a copy of that grid onto a piece of fabric so she can put it on her home meditation corner. And then to go along with it, there's also a star in the first realm, and I use Celestite. And Celestite is a blessed stone that brings in divine energy. I'll write more about what each little keywords for these stones are below, because otherwise this will take forever. So I planned that out. I had a lot of different tumbled stones that I could have used, but these sort of felt good together and they're balanced. I think I want the weird shape one there in this. Okay, that kind of gives me, I like the balance of that. Okay, then the next ring out is blue, and I'm using Sodalite for my blue because it's very close to the blue that's on there, and it's also very, very close to the energy I want this to have. Let me get to my notes after I get these placed so I don't give you wrong information. There are 11 Sodalite stones to make the blue ring, and then Sodalites have to do with communications. They have to do with how we transmit other information out there. And I think it's I use a lot of Sodalite because I really think it works well with the throat chakra and helping us express what we want to say. And this goes here, and this one goes here, and this one goes here. And on this ring, I put a piece of ice calcite, which brings clarification, clarity. It focuses energy. But a broader definition for you of Sodalite is Sodalite brings emotional balance, and it helps you with your own self-esteem. It balances your metabolism, boosts the immune system, and it helps you to have self-acceptance and self-trust. And that's really important when you're going through change, is that you do trust yourself to be able to make the correct change. And I think I'm going to switch these 3, and I'll tell you why, because I want that to cut in a little deeper. So I'm going to put a shallower stone there. That was a fat guy. Okay, there you go. Okay, I think that works a little better for the balance when you look at it. Okay, now we're going to have this thicker, the outer ring, which is also orange, and I put a real mix of stones in there. It's got 8 red jaspers, 1 fancy agate, 4 carnelians, a moonstone, and a fluorite. And the moonstone and the fluorite are the stars that we see in this. And the red jaspers do the same thing. Red jaspers are incredible stone if you want to create boundaries and learn how to protect yourself. Working with the red jasper is really important. If you have a friend who's in trouble and is having a great deal of difficulty creating boundaries for themselves, red jasper is a great stone to give to them. So we're going to go start putting these around and see how they come out in the balance. These are called cabochons, and they're meant to be put in belts and other things, but they're a great way to get a good stone for not a whole lot of money. And when you use the number of stones I use, that's kind of important. Oh, that's my fluorite. And I try to stagger the tumbled crystals with the formed crystals, just to give it balance. And I have enough because I'm going to the rock store and getting what I need. This goes here. That's my that is a carnelian. It's a mixed colored carnelian. It's carnelian below and white above. I think it's a real pretty crystal. I think it's going to be fun in this mix. This is also a carnelian, if I learn how to speak. This is the moonstone that I'm putting. This is a moonstone that's opposite the fluorite. So these are the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I haven't put the 5th one out yet. Okay. Stone for, oh, the ice calcite. Okay. For the stars. Okay. So those are my, so that's my ring of red agate, carnelians. I got the moonstone in here and the fluorite. So, okay. So that's where my stars are. Okay. So that's basically what I'm going to send her. I'm going to send her a description, a picture of this, a description of the stones, and she's going to have a piece of fabric with this printed on it, and she gets to play with her stones all by herself, which is kind of fun. So that's another way you can build a grid. And I know I threw a whole lot at you all at once. I'll try to put keywords with the stones that are on here so that you can understand them. And I hope that you'll consider, people keep saying to me, you know, about building a grid. The first grid I built, I just went out and found a few stones, understood what they meant, threw them together, and it actually worked. As I started to study it, there's a lot more to it. But if somebody said, how do you put them together? It can be, I know that seems really quick. You guys have no idea how many bags of stones I go through to find the ones that I find that are in the right balance. But then to fire it up, I will be sending a quartz wand with it to her to fire it up. And voila, a grid for change. She's finishing school, ready to go out and be in the big world, and she's going into a lot of change that's going to require the elements I talked about here: confidence, success, filtering in only positive energy, and learning to communicate. So that's the grid. That's building a grid. I look forward to seeing you in the garden tomorrow. Goodbye. Have a good day.